You're listening to Hotep-ish with your host, Dewan B. Intelligent ish talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Cosmic 1910 alignment dinner and mini workshop coming to Drop Squad Kitchen.
My bad. I'm over here muting myself. It's my man, Mr. Simon, Vision Media. I'm about to have him edit some commercials for me. Y'all about to see his work. I'm just waiting on a few more photos and everything. Matter of fact, if you want to be in the ad, if you don't, you ain't got to do this. But if you want to be part of the ad, be part of it, please send a picture. If you got your Black Music Family tree, whether you got a picture of the t-shirt or the photo itself or the painting, take a picture of it and send it in to be part of the commercial for incense and ashtrays. I also want to send a shout out to my man King Simon, the Numero Vator. He has a few books on numerology. I read one of them. Numbers are simple. People are complicated. Excuse me if I'm butchering the name, Brother Simon. This off the top of my head. You didn't ask me to do this. I'm doing this because I read the book and it helped me understand numerology. And it helped me understand myself a lot better. But if you want a reading, text 347-496-1022. That brother is the real deal. He will help you solve your challenges. Just challenges based off just your numbers and your birthday. But yeah, we are here. We gon', we talking about. I've been personally not paying attention to this story. I just kept seeing the shit over and over and over again. So I said, you know what? Let me see what's up. Let's see this. First, I didn't watch the video. Then I went back and watched it. Because I said some things on social media this morning, and it has a lot of people triggered. A lot of men triggered. And I think this is an interesting week. Because on one hand, we see the ending of Roe versus Wade. And we're saying, hey, ladies, you got to be more responsible with who you reproduce with. I for one, I've always been pro-choice personally, but as I started to get older and understand the consequences of what was going on with abortion, I started to change my mind to the point to where once this Roe versus Wade decision got handed down, I don't really care. Like, I'm tired of that whole issue being a part of my political discourse. It does nothing for us. The world is no better now than it was in 1973 when the passage came, and that's what no one is looking at. There was no tangible benefit to any society, not black society, not any society. Hold on. Hey Larry, I'm on live, hoe ass nigga. Get in the chat room. Larry just called. But so we've been telling the women, hey, look, ladies, you got to be more responsible with who you decide to, basically let loose raw in you. You got to be more responsible. That's what this is. That's what's coming out of this. It's no matter what side of opinion you stand on with this, the government said, hey, it's up to the states now. And if you live in a state where they're not going to allow you to do these things, you're going to have to choose who you reproduce with wisely. So in that same week, a situation has gone viral on the internet. And I'm going to play some of the audio from it. The way YouTube copyright strikes be acting, I don't want to play no video because sometimes it's cool, sometimes it ain't. So I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to play some of the audio of what happened, and we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to come to y'all flat out with my point of view, and then we're going to discuss it. My point of view is also men. You have to choose wisely who you reproduce with. Women don't turn into loudmouth hood rats after you have a baby with them. I'm 99.9% sure they were like that, and a woman like this was like that before you reproduced with her. Before, not after. Now, of course, there are exceptions. There's always exceptions to the rules. But I just assume that the people listening to the show aren't lame-brained enough to think that anytime you're talking about an issue, you're talking about all. Like I said before, the only absolute in this world is that nasty ass vodka. That's the only absolutes out there. There are always exceptions to the rules. I know fellas who've gotten with women who were one way and then they flipped after they had babies with them. I've seen that. That does exist. But we're talking about big picture. We're talking about most of the time. We're talking about most of the time. Your little exception doesn't change the rule of what we're talking about here. All right? Most of the time, you knew she wasn't shit before you sprayed raw in her. But you had to have it. Just know that when you had to have it, you might have 18 years plus of some bullshit. This what we have right now, what's going on, I look at these as opportunities. Opportunities to assess our behavior and then clean up behavior wherever we can clean it up. Because white supremacy isn't this old, powerful system that we just can't get over. That's an excuse niggas like to give. Oh, white supremacy is just so big and so bad. What can we do? They control all of the resources. Man, you don't know how hard it is out here as a black man. You don't know how hard it is. Niggas sounding like Celie from The Color Purple. That weak shit out of here. Yes, the system has us surrounded, but that still don't stop you from playing your game. The way you get out of a corner is through playing your game. We watch basketball, we watch boxing. Boxers get roped into a corner all the time. How do you get out of that corner? You use your footwork. You use your skills. You spend your time in the gym becoming the best boxer you can be. So when you're faced with opponents, no matter what that opponent throws at you, you have something for it. And if you got chin checked and knocked out your last fight, the way I knocked Larry out if we fought, if you get knocked out, you go back and you look at the video and you find out how you got knocked out and you fix it. Same with basketball. If we're playing basketball and we know the opponents are going to run a trap the minute we cross half court, the first thing you don't do is you never pass the ball to the corners. Because if you pass the ball to the corners, you're going to have the baseline or the half court line and the sideline as defenders. You keep the ball in the middle when the defense is running a trap. When they run a trap, you flash your big to either the free throw line extended or top of the key. That's what the Warriors do. They flash Draymond Green to the top of the key, give it to him. That immediately busts the trap. Then your guards run across a brush screen for either an open layup, a corner three, or an open 20-footer. Why am I using basketball as an analogy? I'm using it as an analogy because as men, that's how we think. We think in terms of sports. You work on your game. And when they throw these traps at you, you know what to do to defend yourself from these traps. One of the traps that we keep getting ourselves caught into as a people is reproducing with the wrong people. Yeah, this show is a come to Jesus meeting about shit that we do as black people. Salute to everybody in the chat room, but I'm not really reading the comments right now because I really want to get this off my mind. And I'm going to have some of y'all call in later on once I get this off my mind. I want to hear what y'all got to say too. But I got to flow right now. One of our biggest issues is reproducing with the wrong people. Men and women. And then turning around and using an abortion as an excuse to get out of it. Or she's a hood rat, I don't want to deal with her. Or he ain't shit, he ain't taking care of his kids. Well, ladies, according to the census, only 9% of men are having children with multiple women. So the answer to that is usually it's the same dudes having multiple children by multiple women. More often than not. Yes, there are exceptions. Yes, sometimes you could have really been with somebody and that nigga really flipped. Yes, that does happen. I'm not here to say that doesn't. I'm not here to say that you were engaged, getting ready to get married, or maybe have gotten married, and then after you guys had a kid, it changed. Yes, that does happen. I'm talking about the 80% of the time when, no, you just wanted a nut. I'm not talking about the 20% of exceptions. 80-20 rule applies to everything. Yes, fellas, when you got with her, she was one way, and then you never planned on being with her. You just wanted a nut. Now y'all had that baby, she done flipped. Yes, that does happen. Happens all the time, fellas. All the time. Which is why you should be double wise about who you spray in wisely. Black society has gotten overly sexualized in the wrong direction. You listen to a conversation with a group of dudes and all they talk about is who they hitting or what's wrong with this and why women this and why women that. Try to have a conversation about building something, crickets. You'll have women talk about why we need abortion, why we need to, what if we change and we just wanted to have, what if we just didn't, or what if they didn't want to hide behind the women who were molested? No, that's wrong to the women who were molested. Using women who were molested as pawns because you want to live like a degenerate. No, let's deal with the truth. That way, the people who were molested, we can now properly help them and we can prosecute those who did the molestation. How are we going to talk about moving forward as a people when we don't want to goddamn deal with the shit that we can control? Huh? This is shit we can control. So when I originally posted this video, on social media, I told people I didn't even watch the video. And I didn't. I've since seen the video, but I didn't watch the video. The video only confirmed what I knew what was coming. Because when you get with somebody who's a loudmouth wench, guess what they gonna be after you have a baby with them? A loudmouth wench, but now to another life, not just you. Certain things, I've worked with children, I worked with families for too long, 25 plus years. I know the outcome. When I see 2 plus 2, I don't have to read the rest. I already know what that equals. So for those of you who didn't see the video, this man, I'm going to play some audio from it right now. And then we're going to discuss the ins and outs of what happened.
Look, y'all, every fucking day my baby daddy come here with one fucking meal for my child. But I have 3 other kids. We have 1 kid together, but he only want to come and bring one thing at McDonald's. But what about my other kids? How come you can't feed my other kids at McDonald's though? Like, that's bogus as hell. Like, you're not finna sit here and make my other kids feel left out, and you're only bringing one child something to eat. Look, there he go, and I bet you he only got one thing in there.
See, let's first talk about that. All right, let's talk about that for a second. When you're in a group, we got to know that there's a group dynamic. There's always group dynamics at play. We don't live in this world alone. when there are multiple children involved, there are multiple things at play. The danger, one thing that I saw in my years working with families, one thing that I saw a lot was I was a person that got called in after this situation. I wouldn't be here for this outbreak. I would be the one the mom or the father called 10 minutes after this happened. Because now that child is feeling broken and that child is having behaviors and the parents don't understand why this child is acting in this way. Or maybe not your child. Maybe one of the other children in the home has a certain reaction to it. If you are in a situation where you have multiple children, where you have a child by a woman with multiple children, and you're not the one with possession of that child, then you have to know that whatever you do with that child has reverberating consequences in the dynamic of that child and their siblings. Sometimes those reactions are played out overtly, but oftentimes they're played out covertly. Like children they may not come out and say, "Hey, why does he have food and I don't?" The way that may play out is down the line when there are issues going on between, it may be a trigger point. Something happens at school. Now the other child feels the teacher is preferring other students over them. That particular child already has a subconscious inferiority complex because his brother's dad is always bringing him something and his dad is nowhere to be found. 18-year-old children, they don't have the vocabulary to voice these concerns. So since they don't have the vocabulary to voice these concerns, oftentimes, the feelings play out in school. The feelings play out at church. The feelings play out in other areas when they're triggered. This child now has a trigger point when they feel insecure about their position. They now have a certain reaction. And then that child becomes a teenager, becomes an adult. And they're still responding to triggers that they created in their mind as a 7-year-old. That's one dynamic. The other dynamic is the parent that is responsible for the children, that has to live with the children. They now have to deal with 4 different personalities that are going to respond differently to what you just did. Their child's personality and response, because that child is going to have different responses from his siblings. And those responses that child gets from his siblings oftentimes play out on the parent who has custody of the child. Now the other siblings are looking at the mother a certain way, and the mother is having to deal with the fallout from your move while you're off dealing with your other family. So all of these things are going on in the mind of the mother. Now, if you have a sensible mother is going to have a different way of reacting than this lady here. But you have a lady with other kids, multiple baby daddies. She obviously isn't responsible with her language. She's not refined in any way, shape, or form. But you lay down with her. You knew that before this child came, most of the time. Again, I'm talking about 80%. We ain't about to have you niggas hide behind the exception. No, nigga, come take this heat. You knew she wasn't shit. You still spray raw. So now that you did that, know that your child that you had a baby with her, he's going to have to go home and deal with those consequences, not you, your child. Me personally, I always come from the point of view of the child. I don't give a damn about the parents, honestly. Y'all got the child in this goddamn situation. I care about the kids. I'm speaking from the point of view of the children and the dynamics that goes on and how to fix our family. We're not gonna fix our families as a people if we keep making these kind of decisions on who to reproduce with. Now I'm gonna play a little bit more.
I'm finna expose the out of him so people can see how he really is. It ain't more than enough food in that bag for everybody. What's up? Because I'm finna expose you. What? Because that don't look enough for all my kids. That don't look enough for all my kids. What is that? That's just one burger? One burger, one fry?
What he like? What do you mean?
Okay, what about my other kids?
What about your other kids?
Okay, but them your kids' siblings though.
What are you talking about? What are you mad
Them
about?
my kids, them your kids' siblings though.
So what you?
So my other kids finna be left out.
You didn't feed them?
You know I don't give my food stamps to the 7.
Lisa, how is that my problem?
But if you're trying to help out though, you're not helping out.
I'm not trying to help. I'm trying to help my son.
But how are you helping your son when you're only getting food for just him and not the other kids, his siblings?
Lisa,
them are his siblings
Lisa,
though.
He's
not finna eat in front of all his other siblings and they're not eating on McDonald's.
Let me tell y'all something. This dynamic right here, if I had a dime for every time I dealt with this dynamic between parents, I'd have hundreds of thousands of dollars. The bringing food by for one kid and not the other, and then the toy thing. But right here, I can't tell you how many times I've dealt with this dynamic. While people were telling me, well, you need to see the video. Oh, God. Nigga, I know what the fuck don't happen. I think some of y'all got to be reminded. Go to Breakthrough 8. Go to my Google business, Breakthrough Advocacy Services. Go read my reviews. Please. Go read my reviews on Yelp. Go read them. I knew what the fuck this is about. See, the difference between me and a lot of people is I hear what isn't being said. That's my gift. I hear what's really being said. What she's saying is, I'm going to have to deal with the fallout of you only bringing something for your children. That's what she's saying. I'm going to have to deal with this fallout. You're not. Does she deserve to have to deal with it? Yes. She deserves it. She the one that had all them different babies by different dudes. Which is, again, the situation you put yourself in as a woman. I don't give a fuck about her or him. I care about that child. Because that child is somebody who's going to be the youth when I'm old. I don't know how old this kid is, but when I'm in my 40s now, just say this kid is 10. So by the time this kid turns my age, I'm going to be 70. And that little motherfucker going to be running society. And I'm going to be like the baby boomers, just running my mouth with no control of shit. There are reverberating consequences when adults play these childish games amongst one another. I don't give a fuck about the adults in this situation. Fuck both of these niggas. Fuck him and fuck her. But that child That child doesn't have any control over his environment. The father is putting the child in a precarious situation. That child is forcing his child into dealing with envy and jealousy from his brothers and sisters. That's what this is doing. And let's take it even a step deeper. That father is putting his child in a position to where that child has to deal with his mother. Let's get all the way deep right now. And let's talk about some shit that niggas don't like talking about. Mothers that carry out, that help, that support white supremacy by treating their sons how they feel about that child's fathers. How many children and boys have to deal with the mom's feelings towards the child's father? And now that innocent child has to live the hate and envy that mother has for his dad. Can we talk about that? Or are we supposed to act like that doesn't exist? This is a woman with no emotional intelligence. Her emotional intelligence is trash. And as the father to that child, you should know that. So while you're playing this game, your child is going to go back to her environment and have to live that experience. This is why, fellas, if you're in this situation, you need to get custody of that child. Okay, you made the mistake of having a child by an ain't shit woman. Okay, point seen, money gone. Now what are you going to do to rectify that? Are you going to keep that child in this dynamic? Or are you going to fight for your child and bring him home to you? What are you going to do, fellas? You made the mistake. Do you keep him there? Or do you take your child? Because let me tell you something. I'm not going to listen to a whole bunch of men bitch and complain about a woman when you have the option of taking your fucking child and taking your child, or at least fighting for him. In my experience, the men who actually fight for their children generally get them. Especially in dynamics like this, where she has multiple baby mamas, baby father, baby daddies. The ones who just kind of like halfway try, the court gonna play games with y'all. The court gonna send you niggas through the ringers. Mind you, I done spent hundreds of days in family court. Hundreds! Family court here in LA, right next to the sheriff department off the 10 and the 710 freeway. The colors on the inside are pink, they're like a pastel pink and light green. Hundreds of days in family court I spent. Most of the time, the fathers aren't there fighting for their children. Most of the time. Or they show up once and they half-stepping. And when these courts see you half-stepping, they gonna put their foot all up in your ass as a man. But when the courts see you real about your shit and you want your fucking child, those games only last for so long. Don't tell me you can't get your children. Yes, you can. You just got to fight. The same way your ass will fight if you lose in a basketball game. It's 10-8. Game point is 11. It's 5 teams waiting on the sideline. You won't be able to get back on the court for at least an hour if y'all don't win this game. You gonna fight your ass off then, ain't you? If you feel somebody disrespect you, you gonna want to throw hands with him, ain't you? You gonna want to fight then, ain't you? Somebody play with your money, you gonna want to fight then. You ain't gonna take no for an answer if somebody playing with your money, nigga. Oh, but now it's your child. Oh, woe is me. Fuck you. And I said that. Ain't no woe is me when a child is involved, nigga. You brought him in here. I don't allow woe is me with men. Because society don't. And society ain't changing. So we got to either step up or shape out. Fuck out of here. Don't want to take. If you know you with a trifling ass broad like this, get your kid. See it happen all the time. My dad got my brother from his mom. My brother got his daughter. I see it every day. The men who want their kids, get them. Sometimes that even means changing up what you do for a living. And I've seen men do this. I've seen men who are on the road find a new profession within what they do that has them around their children more. I've seen this. Comes down to what's more important to you. What is more important? These are decisions parents have to make, which is why I don't envy your position as parents. But what's more important, your positioning or your child's future? So I've been to family court. I know what goes on. Can't bullshit me. We gotta watch who the fuck we procreate with. If you procreate with trash, then clean up the fucking trash. What you gonna? What happens if your kid drops something on the floor? Do you just let there and sit it? Sit it on the floor? Ooh, I dropped something on the floor. What am I gonna do? Pick it up, nigga. That's what you gonna do. That's what you gonna do. You gonna pick up the fucking trash. Let's play a little more. I'm not gonna bet up. Let's play a little more.
No. Why do I gotta put?
Bring him back to the car. I'll let him eat
No.
the car.
He's not finna eat that shit at all if you can't bring enough for everybody.
Lisa, so you telling me that I bring my son food? I gotta bring your kids food too now?
Yes.
You sound f***ing dumb.
How is that shit dumb? You
That's
sound
my-
dumb.
I
You
have-
sound dumb.
Where are they daddies at? Nobody told you to talk to them other. You had them other kids. Them your responsibility. They're not my responsibility.
Okay, but if you're gonna
Man. This is something that we've lost as black men. And we've lost this over the last... This isn't new. We've lost this over the last 400 years. And that's why we're under the subjugation we're under. Greater than just your own kids as a man, we have a responsibility to the society. And that's something that we've been running from. I personally don't have kids. But I have thousands. Me not having kids doesn't take the responsibility away. It doesn't take my responsibility away from the kids. You see how that works? Just because you don't have kids don't mean you're not responsible for the children. That's on a societal level. Meaning, whenever we're in the presence of children, it's our jobs to be the father to them all, to be big uncle to them all. That's our responsibility. This me first mindset, I got mine, you get yours, you take care of yours. That's the schism that white supremacy plays on to dominate us all. My family good, you get yours. And that's how they won the Yamasee Wars. When the black people down there in Florida were stuck together, the Yamasee Wars, we were kicking white supremacy's ass. The minute the white supremacists went over to the Cherokee Indians and said, hey, those other black Indians down there in Florida, they kicking our ass. So we'll give you some guns and some liquor, some of this firewater, if you help us go kick them other black people's ass. And that went a long way into the white supremacists coming down and taking control of Florida. Same with the Mississippian Wars. Hell, same with what went on with black women in the 1960s and 70s. Black women, we gonna give y'all Section 8 housing and some government assistance if you make sure that man ain't around though. We got you. We lost our connection to each other. We lost our connection to our society. And because we have this individualistic mindset, we all suffer. We're an open hand, not a fist. An open hand can get a few good slaps in every now and again, but it takes a fist to knock somebody out. If I'm slapping you and you punching me, the person punching me with that fist is going to beat me slapping them with an open hand every time. This whole I got mine, you get yours mindset got us all fucked up. And the reason why I'm putting it on the men, because we're the leaders. Along with leadership requires a leader. You know what a leader has to do, man? A leader has to move first. I don't have time to listen to you niggas. But the women. What, you want to be a bitch now? But the women. Women don't lead, nigga. Men do. Men are the positive charge. Women are the receptors. Men have poles. Women have holes. As above, so below. I take you niggas back to the law of nature every time. I don't live in this little bullshit ass new world that people want to bring in where it's okay to be a hoe ass nigga blaming women. Hell no. I live within the laws of nature, the 7 laws of nature. And one of the laws of nature is the law of the masculine and the feminine principle. The masculine principle is the principle that takes charge. The feminine is the receptive. If you want to be in your masculinity, nigga, you take charge. You don't wait for women to change. You change the world around you and watch the women fall in line. That's the world I live in. That's the world I live every day. I take charge, nigga. And the women follow what I do. Period. It ain't no other way around. That's what being masculine is. It's not about how much you can bench press. Do you guys know that weightlifting is the official sport of of gay men? Did y'all know that? The official sport of gay men is weightlifting. People do that shit so they can feel tough. But how tough are you if you're waiting on a woman to lead you? You ain't tough at all. You's a boy. That's what boys do. That's what boys do. 14-year-olds wait on women to lead. He's not old enough. He has to follow mom. Nigga, you 40. The fuck you waiting on a woman to lead for? What's wrong with you, niggas? You know what you do in this situation? You don't do anything at all. If you don't have the money, you know what you do? When you with your child, you spoil your child and do whatever you do with them. But if they're going to be at home and your child is eating McDonald's and the rest of them aren't, yeah, your child about to get a full belly, but now you just put your child in a dynamic that's going to have them fucked up between their siblings and they trifling ass mama. We already knowing the mama trifling. Now you about to send your child back to a home of a trifling mama and trifling ass siblings, and you are not there to protect them. Ooh, did I say that? Did I just say that? Again, I don't give a fuck about the mom and the dad. I care about that kid. You just put your kid in a dynamic that can get them victimized, and you ain't there to protect them. Think about that for a second. Why are you thinking about a nigga that may not have enough money? You just put your child in a fucked up situation and you can't even protect them from it. Because you're going to be on the other side of town. These is kids, man. Kids aren't reasonable. A kid doesn't even have the ability to reason. An 8-year-old, a 7-year-old, all he sees is John has something that I don't have, and my mommy let it happen. That's all the other children see. James has something that I want, and my mommy let him do it. I'm either going to aggressively go at James, or I'm going to passively aggressively go at James. Now your son James is having to deal with that dynamic while you're off living your dusty life. And let me tell you another thing, fellas. Not having enough money ain't an excuse. We men, we go get it. You brought that child here. If your job don't pay enough, go drive Uber at night. I care about the kids, not dusty ass adults. This is a whole powder keg that most people never see. It's a whole powder keg, and it has a lifelong unfoldment of consequences. The food is the tip of the iceberg. It's not even about the food, really. It's about two adults that reproduced without having the adequate resources to reproduce, without doing personality assessments of the people they reproduced with, bringing in children who are now victims of those adults' lack of thinking ahead. Now we here. Now we here. Who has to suffer? The children. That's who suffers. That's who suffers. The children. That's who suffers. That's what's been my issue with feminism. Feminism forgot about the kids. Feminism said, women, 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 women. Well, what about y'all children? And as men, although we're justified in our reactions to feminism and what that's done to the family, men tend to react and go at the woman. Women this, women that, women that, women this, women that. Okay, cool. But what about the children? We're made of atoms, neutrons, protons, and electrons. 3 is the nucleus. Man, woman, child. Proton, neutron, electron. We're atoms. That's why they call him Adam. And if all 3 aren't functioning at an optimal level, then we all fucked up. Man, woman, child. Man, woman, child. We got to think about the kids. We've been so focused on each other, we've forgotten about the children. White supremacy has used this schism and used this division, and all we do is argue with each other when the kids are sitting there having to deal with the bullshit. I already told you guys in my reading of this country, we're about to start seeing the family dynamic come back together by force, because all this shit that's happening on the outside of society, we got to deal with. But I'm about to open up the phone lines. Let's see. I think my phone lines are working. They should be working. I've been having issues with Skype. Wait, no, before I open the phone lines, nah, I've had enough of that video. I don't want to deal with that immaturity. That shit triggers me. It really does. I got that call way more often than you wanna know. Having to deal with child and family dynamics after one parent brought something over for one, not the others. I know what that looks like after it's over with, and my heart goes out to the children. Let me make that another clear. I don't give a damn about the adults. Y'all made y'all bed. But the kids, they're the ones that suffer for it. Call on in 323-744-7425. I don't know if the phone lines are working. Call in and see. If it ain't working, then it ain't working. I gotta go back. Told y'all my cardiology readings, y'all shut my Skype phone lines down last week. And Skype ain't been the same since. So hopefully I can get y'all's calls. But after you've reproduced with someone, we got choices to make. Do you keep your child in that environment as a father? These are things that we can fix in house. by choosing who you reproduce with wisely. And know this, there are consequences. You reproduce with a woman that has multiple children who can't control her emotions like this woman in this video, well, this is what you get. Thank you, Tasha, for the Cash App. This is what you have to deal with. See, he who thinks, I hear you saying, as a man, I'm checking the father. I'm with you on that. As a man, I'm checking the father. Holes and poles. We make the decisions. Yeah, I'm getting people text. I'm getting people inboxing me saying that they trying to call. Yeah, I don't think this phone line working. I just got 3 inboxes from people saying that they trying to call and they can't get through. Yeah, I'm sorry. Man, my phone lines, I think I'm able to call out, but I'm still, for those who don't know, when I did my readings show this past Saturday, Skype shut my phone, two Saturdays ago now. Skype shut my phone lines down. Like they said I was getting too many calls at once and they thought there was some fraudulent shit going on. So Skype shut a nigga all the way down. And I've been having problems ever since. So I can't take y'all calls today. Salute to everybody that inboxed me and told me that. So I can't take y'all calls. I got more fixing to do with Skype. But I'm just gonna read what y'all saying in the chat room. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, women gotta fix women. Women don't like listening to men talk about this kind of shit. Women, we need women. We need more vocal women out there to fix hood rats like her. We need more Scheherazade Ali's out there. They don't listen to men. I see someone says Ski says he's not obligated to buy food for her. Yeah, he's not obligated to buy food for her. That's true. But his son's gonna deal with the consequences. How much do you really care about your son? If you're willing to let your son live in a dynamic, they're faced with consequences and you can't be there to protect them. Now your son's gonna have to deal with an angry mother who treats him unfairly, and angry siblings who do passive aggressive things to undermine your son, and you're not there to protect them. Now, Quan, she's not teaching her. How can she teach her kids what she don't know? She obviously has no emotional intelligence. This mother doesn't sound like someone who teaches her kids anything. She can't teach what she herself don't know and don't understand. Again, but he chose to have a baby with her. You damn right there should be food in the house for them other ones in spite of it. You're right. I keep seeing dudes say it's not his duty to feed the other kids. It's not his duty. It's not his duty. You're right. It's not his duty. We agree. It's not his duty. But your son still got to deal with the bullshit. Your son still has to deal with it. And furthermore, why are you letting your son live with a woman who can't take care of, who don't have enough money for the kids? Why aren't you fighting for your kid? Why are you leaving your kid in that environment? Take your fucking child. Take your child. Remove your child from that environment. You don't get to play tough. You in the head. That nigga sound like a simp. Man, it sounded like he was mad that she didn't stay with him. You would have had more kids by more men. It ain't my job. Well, take your fucking child, nigga. How about that? Your child has to deal with this. Yes, she is wrong. She ain't shit for having all these different kids like that and being the way she... Okay, I agree with all that. Okay, cool. We agree. Take your child. Because if you don't take your child has to deal with that with the fallout. And the biggest thing, a father's number one responsibility. Let's go all the way down to nature, nigga. Hey, nigga, let's talk, nigga. Let's talk. As a man, ain't your number one responsibility to your child is the protection of that child? A father's number one job is protection and provision. You don't get to only do one side of it and say, oh, I did my job. You don't get to drop off no fucking McDonald's and say, hey, I did my job. Those kids ain't mine. Okay, you provided food. Now, what about the protection aspect? Now your child has 23 and a half hours until he sees you again. Your child has to live the next however many hours or days in that environment without you there to protect them. What, you want half credit? You don't get credit for bringing food, but you can't protect them. Your child is in that house alone with a mama that don't fuck with them and siblings who are jealous of them. And you can't do nothing about it. Provision and protection. Provision and protection. No, nigga, I'm speaking from a man's perspective. You speaking from a woman's perspective. If you ain't thinking about the protection of your child, you sound like a half hoe, nigga. I gave my kids some McDonald's. I'm a man. Fuck out of here. I gave my kids some McDonald's. I'm a real father. What you gonna say next? You a good dad because your child has shoes? I gave my kids McDonald's. Hey, God, you don't know what being a father's like. I gave my kids some McDonald's. I'm a man now. Somebody, look, that's how I know that this dumb motherfucker new around here. Said, what do you do outside of YouTube? Go to breakthroughas.org, nigga, and find out. I run a company called Breakthrough Advocacy Services. Read my bio. Read my Yelp reviews, nigga. Read my Google reviews. I've been working with families for over 25 years. That's what I do. I'm the nigga your children call when you weren't taking care of them. I'm the one that gives them the emotional support when you ain't around. That's who the fuck I am. I'm the one that moms call when big brother is beating up on little brother and mama don't know why. That's who the fuck I am. Go to breakthroughas.org and find out who the fuck I am. Learn something. I'm not one of these dusty niggas you used to talking to about who's your top 5 and who the best of all time is in the NBA. Because that's all you niggas talk about. This nigga dropping food off to his kid and about to go hang around his homeboys and argue who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan, while his kid has to live in that dynamic. That's who the fuck I am. I am the authority on this. I'm the nigga that when your child gets put into special ed because he can't sit still, and he only can't sit still because he need his fucking daddy at home. That's the only reason why he can't sit still. I'm the nigga they call when they try to put that kid on drugs and put him in special ed and say he can't act right and put him in non-public school because now he's fighting other kids in class. When that child perceives another child in class has an advantage over him, he's being jealous when really he's only angry because that's the dynamic he's living with at home. But he's seeing his mom allow his brother's dad to bring him shit that isn't his. But instead of him arguing with mom and fighting with mom, he's fighting other kids at school. Now, because that child is fighting other kids at school, the school is putting them in special education under other health impairments because mentally he doesn't test to get put into special ed, but because his behaviors are a certain way, he's getting put into special education when that little smart child really should be in advanced placement because he's hella smart. But because he has emotional trauma, he's being put into special education, given an IEP, and getting passed along through school and getting looked over by society while the men of society are arguing who's better, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. While the men are getting in emotional fights over whose top 5 is better than the other top 5, this is happening to our children right now. That's who the fuck I am if you new around here. That's who the fuck I am. I'm the person that deals with the fallout. So I'm speaking from that point of view. I'm speaking from the point of view of being the man that has to deal with your trifling ass kids because you didn't want to deal with them. Now I gotta be there. That's who the fuck I am. And if you have the mindset, well, I'm not the other kids' fathers, well, that shows how small you see yourself. That has more of a that's more of an indicator of how small you view yourself than anything else. Because as a man, I see myself as the father to any children in my presence. Any and all. If you around me, I'm your uncle. I'm the one that's going to take care of you. You ain't got to be my seed. But the fact that you're a black kid and you here on this earth, that's all you need to be my child. The fact that you're living and breathing and you black, that makes you my kid. And if you got this selfish ass mindset, then stay away from me. Flat out. That mindset is why black people are in the situation that we're in. I got mine, you get yours. That hurts all of us. I have a sense of community. I have a sense of responsibility to my neighbors. If you around me, you my kid. No, in some ways it takes a village is lost, but a lot of us are out there. We've just been quiet. Black society, we've been letting the degenerate amongst us talk for far too long. You got these degenerates who are out for themselves, They're the loudest amongst us. But these are the same people who will let their children go back to an environment to where they know the mama don't fuck with them. I know I'm rare. I know I may be sounding different to some of you niggas. That's fine. But what do I sound like if I sounded normal in this sick society? If you're sounding normal in a sick society, what does that say about you and your mindset? This society is sick. And you go along with it? Okay. But that ain't me. That ain't me. I got a sense of responsibility to my community. I love the kids. I speak for the kids. I speak for the kids. Again, if you're the kind of dude that says, I'm going to take care of me and my own, fine. Go ahead. I don't respect it, but go ahead. Everybody got their own way. Everybody do you, but I'm going to do me. And doing me means, as the men of society, it's our job to have a mindset of the greater good, not just us. That's part of being a man. Having a sense of responsibility to your community. That's 100% interwoven within my ethics. But I also grew up with a father that would pick my cousins up and take them to the Laker game along with me. I grew up with a father that when we went around my cousins, if he either didn't bring candy for anyone or he brought candy for everyone. I grew up with a father that when we used to go down to Rancho Cienega Park when I played basketball, when he would see the BPS blood niggas out in front of the gym and he would see their cars, he would look at them and compliment their cars. And then he always had a message for them. Yo, man, when you see the police coming around, don't do this, don't do that, whoop, wham, whoop, wham, and keep pushing. And I grew up with a father that did that in the middle of South Central LA in the 80s when shit was all bad here. So those are my ethics. My ethics are towards the community. I grew up with a father that when he saw my brother not being treated right at home, I grew up with a father that went and got his son. Yep. I grew up with a grandfather that took care of my dad, even though my dad wasn't his kid. Those is the black people that I know. I don't know you new niggas. I don't know y'all. This I got mine, you get yours. I don't know you niggas. Salute to y'all. Live life the way you want. I don't know y'all. That's something different. That mindset is foreign to me. I don't know these emotional niggas. Some of y'all got drama y'all got to work on between you and your mamas. You chose to procreate with these people. And this is another dynamic we got to deal with in our community. You willing to have a baby with somebody you're not willing to marry? Let's talk all the way about it. You willing to have a baby with somebody that you're not even willing to marry? Let's tell the whole truth. What we're dealing with here is, what's the law? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The law of vibration. You reproduced with somebody emotionally unstable. I keep agreeing with y'all that she ain't shit. I agree with that. What about the kid? Thank you, Larry. What about the kid? It ain't no common denominator. You have a kid that lives. You niggas talking about denominators and ain't passed algebra 2. What about the kid? Again, y'all keep taking it back to their parents. Well, she's this. Well, he's that. Fuck both of them. I'm talking about the kid. We know she ain't shit. So get your kid out of that environment. Take your fucking kid. Now she has 3. For everybody in there said, she has 4 kids and his is only 1. All right, take your kid. Now she only has 3. Problem solved. You got 1 kid that you can feed because you only got enough money to feed 1 kid. All right, cool. Now you got your kid. And now she has less of a burden. Now she has 3 to take care of instead of 4. Problem solved, ain't it? Right there. Problem solved. You take your child. She can have her other 3. And she can deal with them niggas. Problem solved. Problem solved. I don't listen to men talking about what a woman can do. You sound like a bitch. You're letting the woman lead you. Why as a man? Why would you even put your power in a woman? Let's talk all the way cool. Let's talk all the way. Let's get all the way real. Why would you give your power to a woman? You're a man. You're supposed to exhibit the masculine principle. You have the power. And I don't mean to sound chauvinistic, ladies, but y'all know it's true too. Men got the power. We got the power. We got the power. Niggas don't like exercising that power though. They want to blame the government. Man, the government done did this and the government done did that. I ain't never seen the government get in the way of a determined man and his child. Never. And I'm in the family courts hundreds of times, hundreds of days in the family courts. It's a man's world. That man can show that video right now. He can go down to family court right now, show that video, and get his child right now. He can get custody right now. Right now. If he couldn't get custody before, he can get it now. I'm sorry, fellas. I don't believe in putting the power in the hands of women. I don't. I don't. She has 3 different baby daddies. Fine. Well, now she can deal with them while my child is over here being safe and protected. Because as a man, your number one responsibility is to provide and protect. Those are the same. There's not one above the other. You can't have one without the other. You can't provide without protection, and you can't protect without providing. If you only provide a McDonald's meal and you can't protect your child from the fallout of what they're going to have to deal with in the dynamic at home, then you only doing half the job. She ain't shit, but you knew she wasn't shit before you sprayed in her raw. Trust me, back in my single days, I sprayed in plenty of ain't shit chicks. But I had a condom on. I'm not going to give you the power to control this, to have an abortion or a morning after pill or control the next 18 years of my life. No siree. I'm not going to trust you when you say you taking that pill. I do not want to have no baby with you, but you got a fat ass. Let me slide this rubber on real quick, so I ain't got to deal with you for the next 20 years of my life. Slip, 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 slip. Pump, pump, pump. Now I'm on living my life and you on living yours. See how simple that was? Did it feel as good as it could have felt raw? No. Raw would have felt a lot better. I ain't gonna lie, raw sex would have felt a lot better. Because, oh, she had a fat ass. Raw sex would have felt a hell of a lot better. But I still got mine off. And you know what feels better than raw sex? Not having to deal with her crazy ass. Some of them crazy chicks I used to fuck with back in the day. I look at them sometime on Facebook right now. And I be thinking, damn. And that nigga that sprayed at you raw is mad than a motherfucker. And I'm looking at him like, he fool. All you had to do is put a condom on. Niggas want to act powerless. Hell yeah, raw sex with her would have felt a little bit better. But what feels better than raw sex is no responsibility to her. How about that? Thank you, Trojan. Matter of fact, I own some stock in Trojan. All the money I done given Trojan in my life, shit. Better to pay Trojan than the paternity court. But no, you dumb niggas couldn't think ahead. Now you want to sit around and she this and she that and women this and where. Meanwhile, your kid's suffering. Fuck out of here. I ain't got time for no goddamn excuses why your kid's suffering. Nope. Nope. Right. It be the main niggas that's talking. And this is another reason why I don't mind talking the way I talk about this subject. Cause the main niggas that be talking about bitch this, bitch that, women this, women that, be the softest ass, simp ass niggas when they around women. Let's tell the whole truth. The main ones that be complaining about women, when it's just them and women, y'all be drinking they bathwater. Women, the whole damn community done hit. You over here serenading her, playing the guitar, trying to playing goddamn Tyrese and R. Kelly, trying to smooth and mac her down. And then we come around, fellas, man, these bitches ain't shit. All right, if that's true, why these same sorry ass ain't shit women keep having kids by multiple dudes? Somebody's lying. I don't have to look at you. I don't have to listen to you. I can just look at the evidence. Why are these degenerate chicks, why are these the main ones having multiple baby fathers? Somebody's lying. Because if you was as hard as you say you are, you would have identified her degeneracy and either passed on the pussy or put a condom on before you hit it. If your shit was in order the way you say it is. you'd either passed on the pussy or you'd have put a condom on. No simp, nigga. I'm not on Derrick Jackson shit. Derrick Jackson simped for women. I'm calling you dumb niggas out that don't want to take care of your kids. I don't give a damn about if you sprayed it in a degenerate woman, that's your fault. That shows your game ain't tight as you say it is. I'm the one that deal with these kids when your sorry ass ain't around. You niggas be the main ones simping into these chicks. Ooh, baby, baby, baby. Y'all be like, what's his name? Sean Wayne's character on Don't Be a Menace. Y'all remember that? Old girl had all them babies. She down a 40 ounce right in front of this nigga. Pulling out guns in front of this nigga. Got an Asian kid, a black kid, a little Mexican kid. And here you come sucking her toes. But then when you're around the women, man, when you're around the fellas, man, these bitches be trying me, man. Man, these bitches ain't shit. Something wrong with these women. Nigga, you saw Daishiki wasn't shit. You saw Daishiki down that 40 ounce and burp right in front of your ass. And you still put a baby in her. This is 80% of niggas. I ain't talking about the 20% of dudes who slip up. Mistakes happen. Again, I've seen fellas out there. I know someone who had but the dudes that slip up, they have a different conversation than the ones who know they slipped up. They have a conversation than you simp ass niggas who still hiding who still don't want to deal with the problem that you created. I know a dude that had a baby by a woman and he know he fucked up. That woman wasn't shit. But he dealt with it. And when he had to deal with his son, he knew how to act appropriately. He wouldn't do things that put his son in a compromising position. That's what he did. He said, I can't go over there with food for just my kid. My kid gonna get fucked up. My kid gotta live with that. I'm not gonna do that. No. I'm not doing that. So my son so now my son gotta deal with my fallout? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Rob Trimble just said it. If you got an ancient bitch, it's easier just to get custody. Yes, right. This is what we can clean up. Hey, when I put this on Facebook earlier, it was a white man that jumped up in the comments scene talking about we need to clean up our community. That white man in the comments has since blocked me because we put it on his ass. Salute to all my Facebook friends that clowned the shit out that white boy. Salute to y'all. We had to remind him of the institutionalized rape they allow in their community through the Catholic Church, through politicians. We had to remind them that they problems deal with mass. They go around killing innocent kids in school because of shit. White folks go around storming capitals because they lost a fucking vote. Let's keep this in perspective, black people. We ain't as bad as white people. We over here trying to clean up our shit. We're victims of their system, and we got to have hard conversations with each other. This is a black man having a tough conversation with black men, but and black women, a conversation that we need to have to clean up what's going on in our society. But we ain't degenerates like them people. Don't ever compare us to those motherfuckers. We like that because we in a society. If we're living in a society where we're adequately resources, we're not dealing with the issues that we're talking about right here. You're right. Them white men are the first deadbeat on record. You got a whole new race and class of people that are fatherless. You got motherfuckers from the Philippines with the last name Lopez. That right there tell you all you need to know about white men being the first baby daddies not taking care of their kids. You got motherfuckers in the Philippines named Lopez. All throughout Latin, we think it's standard that people in Mexico and Latin America have names like Rodriguez. Rodriguez ain't indigenous to Mexico. Nigga, Mexicans don't practice Catholicism. Those are the original baby daddies, spreading seeds across the planet that they don't take care of. Yeah, you right, the sperminator. I've heard about that dude, the sperminator out there, man. White people. I remember when I was driving Uber, I had this white dude that I was Ubering, and he owned a bar. I'm not gonna name the name of his bar, but his bar was over there in West LA, in Santa Monica. Y'all know, like over off like Main Street in Santa Monica, right, the beach. It's the beach, Ocean, then Main Street. Main Street is that block where all the clubs are on. Over like in the Venice, Santa Monica area. Venice, Santa Monica border. Well, anyway, this white man had his baby with him. And he was taking his baby to work. He owned the bar. And we were just talking. He was like, yeah, man. He was like, yeah, I got to take my child to the bar with me. I said, why? He said, well, his mama. Man, I own the bar and she looked good and now we had sex and now I have this baby and she's fucking crazy. She sounded wilder than this bitch in this video we talking about right here. And he was talking about all the drama that he had to deal with the baby's mother. And then you know what he said? He said, you know what, dude? I'm at the point where I'm about to give him back and I'm just going to go back and live my life. Fuck this kid and fuck her. I was like, damn. Really? He said, fuck this kid and fuck her. I was like, whoa, Nelly, I wasn't ready to hear that. All around the world, same song. All around the world, same song. We inherited these bad behaviors from their society. We weren't like this even through the 60s. But when dude said, fuck her and fuck this kid, I was like, yo. And trust me, Mexicans are dealing with this as bad as we are, if not worse. Half my clients, when I was at my last job, half my clients are Mexican. Let me tell you the percentage of fathers who weren't around. All of them. Wasn't none of their fathers around. Just like when I dealt with the ones that were all with us. Mexicans dealing with the same shit too. They got baby daddy syndrome going on like a motherfucker here in LA. The Mexican men going off dropping these seeds. Especially when the Mexicans have kids with black women. Like it's a lot of black kids with Mexican daddies in South Central because mama wanted a child with silky hair. Mexican daddy and his whole family was like, nigga, that ain't your kid. That ain't mine. This stuff isn't isolated to Black America. It's not. This isn't isolated to us. It's happening in the Armenian community. I see it in Glendale. It's happening all over. I'm just dealing with us. We got to be smarter. We got to know how to choose wisely who we reproduce with. Because when you don't choose wisely with who you reproduce with, this is the end result right here. The things we're dealing with in this video. And children who are the victims, while the adults sit around crying at each other. Nigga said looking like Matt Barnes. Right. You got a whole bunch of Matt Barnes looking babies running around in the hood that don't know who their fathers are. You right about that. You're right. A lot of Miguels and Stacey Dashes walking around. Yep. Yeah, see, the thing is, other groups had the same shit going on, but they deflect onto Black people. That's where this whole look at what Black America's doing thing comes in. Because other groups don't want to deal with their shit. So since they don't want to deal with their shit, they say, look at Black people. That's what happens. Which again puts us in a superior position. Shows how great we are. We so good. You looking on one hand, y'all say we ain't shit. On the other hand, y'all look towards us as moral guidance. What does that say about us? And what does that say about y'all? Nah, Jaron, Mexican gang members, that's a misconception. Mexican gang members do not kill Black people in a minute. No. Mexicans are scared of us out here. Every now and again, with the help of the LAPD, the police and the sheriff department, through orders sent down from prison, there will be gang wars that start up out of some prison shit on the streets of LA, where Black people get killed by Mexicans. But they never tell you about the Black people that get back at them motherfuckers. And how Black people neutralize that shit on the streets of LA real fast. And how 95% of the time, Blacks and Mexican gangs in LA, like Mexicans find refuge in Black hoods, and Black and niggas find refuge in Mexican hoods. That's what goes on out here in LA 98% of the time. If niggas is beefing, a Black person can go to a Mexican hood to kind of hide out. And vice versa. If Mexicans is beefing, they can come into a Black hood and hide out. Every now and again, a directive gets sent down from prison where Mexicans start killing Black people, but the Black gangs always get them back and get them back worse. The news just don't report that part, and we don't brag about it. Black people just take care of business and everything goes back to normal. That's what happens. What's up? Welcome to the chat room, Sweetest Sugar. Welcome, Mayonnaise Makeup. Y'all some new faces I see in here. Welcome to y'all. So yeah, no, I don't believe the hype that Mexicans, Black people just running around in fear of Mexicans. No, that's not true. When they start some shit that's sent out from the prison, that shit gets neutralized on the streets of LA real fast. And then everybody goes back to living normal. That's the dynamic out here. I want to thank y'all for listening. You know, get your Black Family Music tree right now. IncenseandAshtrays.com. It's your Black Family Music tree. "400 years of history of music that we've created here in North America. 400 years. From bluegrass to bossa nova. From Appalachian to Zydeco. From gospel to disco. From Brit pop to hip hop. The Black American created it all. We got the history on Incense and Ashtrays that we breaking down. I'll be doing another Incense and Ashtrays Funk Fridays Part 2 on Friday. The evolution of funk on Friday on Incense and Ashtrays. Oh, while I'm talking about all this, I got my book coming out. I think I'm gonna go with this book cover. Tell It Like It Is. The Art of Loving Communication. That's coming out next month. Helping families solve their communication problems. I'm thinking about adding. My editor already got my book. I'm thinking about a shit with all these things going on right now. I'm thinking about adding this chapter. Nigga, don't bring food to your kids at the other house. You about to put your kid in a fucked up position if you do. Tell It Like It Is. The Art of Loving Communication. How to speak. I wrote this book on loving communication because I spent too many years dealing with women who talk like she was in a very hurtful, hateful tone. She don't know how to express herself. I wrote this book for people like her. You can't yell and scream your way to harmony. You gotta know how to speak to people in a loving tone. That's how you do it. You have to, if you want a good family dynamic, you got to know how to say it. And unfortunately, because we were raised in a broken society, a lot of us just flat out don't know how to talk to each other. Period. We don't know how to talk to each other. And that's where our problems are. We don't know how to talk to each other. This book is my attempt at helping to solve that communication gap. I'm not just here complaining about what's going on. I'm writing books trying to help this shit. We don't know how to talk to each other as a family unit. So I'm just here to help. All right. That's all I care about. And I'm going to do more of these. Y'all know me on this channel. I like these conversations. These conversations that are tough to have. I'd rather talk about this. I'd rather talk about this than talk about who my top 5 rappers are. All right. And I love music. I'd rather talk about this than celebrity gossip. I'd rather talk about this than a whole bunch of other bullshit we waste our times talking about. Yeah, Tasha, you right about that. I remember we had them conversations. Y'all worked as a team in spite of what y'all went through. You and your child's father worked it out. Y'all did. And I salute you. I remember some of the issues that you were dealing with back when your son was like 14. Your daughter, me and Tasha had conversations, boy. One thing I can say about Tasha, she always went back to her children. And so did the father. They always did what's best for the kid. And I got nothing but respect for y'all. I got nothing but respect for y'all. No matter what went on between y'all, the betterment of the child was always most important. And that's all you can ask for. Parents ain't going to be perfect. I don't expect parents to be perfect. I don't expect parents to be rich and have all the resources. I don't expect none of that. The only thing I expect is that the parents put the child first. That's it. I love kids. And that's where my heart is, on the children. All right. So remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages. For those who are willing to pick up the game, follow me on all my social medias and all that shit. I'm out. Man, woman, child.